Today, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple, moist and tender roast beef that you can make during those busy and hectic weeknights. And when you put this roast on the table, your family will think you spent all day cooking this roast to moist and tender perfection. So let's get started. I'm going to start by pouring vegetable oil over and very liberally seasoning all sides of a 6-pound eye of round beef roast with kosher salt and black pepper. An eye of round is an extremely lean piece of meat with no marbling, which means it's naturally going to be fairly bland in flavor and tough if overcooked. So I'm leaving all the external fat cap on for moisture and flavor. You're probably asking yourself, if it's such a bad cut, why is he cooking it? Well, because, number one, it's very inexpensive compared to other beef roasts. And number 2 and 3, if it's cooked and sliced properly, it's actually very good. However, and I'm not judging anyone, but if you like your meat well done, this roast does not have the internal fat to hold up to being cooked well done. This roast is not for you. If you want to give it a try, make sure you have a bucket of gravy and your jaws are in good shape, and don't say I didn't warn you. Now rub the salt and pepper into the roast, and ideally you would like the roast to sit out on the counter for 2 to 3 hours or more to come up to room temperature. But remember, we're doing this during a busy weeknight after you just got home from a long day of work. So just let it sit out on the counter as long as your schedule allows. Now place the roast into a roasting pan on a raised rack and then into a preheated 500-degree oven for 5 minutes per pound. So that's 30 minutes for the 6-pound roast. Then turn the oven off and do not open the oven door and let the roast rest for 1 hour. And here's what it'll look like when it's done. And look at that beautiful salt and peppered crust. Now let's slice it in half and see how it turned out. You can see it's a nice medium rare in the center, but it has that not so appealing gray band around the outer edge. That comes from the roast being cold and not at room temperature when it went into the 500-degree oven. It's mainly a cosmetic effect with this specific type of cook, and it doesn't affect the taste or texture. This is why I think it's important for the meat to come up to room temperature first. As you'll see here with this bottom round roast I cooked exactly the same way, that sat out on the counter for 3 hours before it went into the oven. Notice how much nicer and more uniform it is. Had this not been a time-constrained cook, we could have let the meat come to room temperature or done a reverse sear. Meaning we could have slow roasted the roast at 250 degrees until it got to around 125 degrees and then finished it off in a 500-degree oven. But the whole point of this video was how to make roast beef quickly during the week. You can slice it as thick or as thin as you like, but I would suggest on the thinner side, as no matter how you cook it, this cut is not very tender unless you slice it very thin. We're serving half of this in thicker slices as an entree tonight, along with mashed potatoes, gravy, and some other fixings, and then tomorrow I'll slice the other half into paper-thin slices for roast beef sandwiches. So there you have it. That's all there is to making quick and easy, weeknight, eye of round roast beef. Serve it with a little au jus for dipping or horseradish sauce, which is my favorite. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you give this a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.